Hey, Francis here. I'm gonna make it quick, okay, and tell you the top three reasons you should probably quit that goal, your goal that you're chasing now. So, this is quite a deep topic to me because all of my 20s were spent, trying a lot of things, trying to get rich online, or every time I would scroll on Instagram, Facebook, I would see these ads, and I was the kind of guy that would probably was probably watching them all, right? And clicking on the link and then, just slightly get hypnotized and, click add to cart and buy and spend thousands of dollars on shiny objects, right? And you get into the content, you're excited, the adrenaline's pumping, and then, the excitement slowly starts to fade. You start doubting yourself. And, you see the next thing, and then you jump on the next thing, and then you sort of create this cycle, this never-ending cycle of shiny object after shiny object. And social media killed it for everybody. I mean, ever since Facebook ads, I mean, it fucked us up fucking bad. I can't imagine that, the Gen Z, if you're in your early 20s today, you pretty much grew up with that. And it a lot of men today feel lost because of that, because they're not chasing their own lives. They're chasing someone else's life. And with the education system and the rat race and all of that, you're being sold a life that is not a way of living. And every influencer that you hear talk about this, they are either canceled or silenced, and you know, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But I'm gonna try to be turn it into a positive video because it's never too late. It's never fucking too late. I mean, I'm 30 now, but all the experience I built, kind of has led me to here, right? And sometimes, life works in mysterious ways. And, never take, what you've tried for granted, right? Because it can be useful later on in life, right? So, first to evaluate like what your goals are, what your purpose is, because purpose is like your sort of like your lifelong mission. And goals are like the milestones, on your way to get to your purpose or are part of your purpose, right? So goals, purpose, it has different meanings. But, when it comes to goals and, what's your true purpose, it's always good to maybe look back at the last decade, maybe even 20 years, depending if you're 40 or, mid 30s and so on. So, you know, what have you done all this decade? Like maybe skills that you've learned, maybe, a certain job that you were good at, or things like that. What are some useful skills that you've built, throughout these years that you could potentially build on, and add on to that can turn into a profitable, uh, you know, fun life, right? Especially like, let's say sales. Let's say I was working door to door sales, and I became the seventh best salesman in Atlantic Canada for that first quarter after only being there for a couple of months. So, I was really good at persuasion, had good charisma. This was door to door, so you had to sell in person, going into a stranger's home and, trying to bring them back to Bell, which was an internet service back in Canada. So usually they quit because, we raised their price after the 2 year promotion. They're pissed off, and every time they see that blue jacket of mine, they want to close the door on me. But I learned how to persuade, how to read people, and how to, be really empathetic and, make the sale. Convert someone that was totally, shutting down and putting a wall in front of me. So, that was very, very valuable. And, what I'm doing now is basically I'm using what I've learned from sales, like working on my communication skills, not having a script, being able to talk and try to use my voice as best as I can and try to not sound monotone like this. And hey guys, how's it going? This is my YouTube channel and what I'm going to be talking about today. No, you want to make it engaging. You want to shift the voice, have different cadence, different tones, right? And this is something I'm actively working on. And I want to get better at because being a good communicator gets you the bills. It gets you the bills and gets your message across. And since English is my second language, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a challenge, but I'm not gonna make excuses. I'm gonna try to speak on camera, try to get better at it, and hammer through, right? And sales, right? Kind of encapsulate all that persuasion, communication, and it's great for building a personal brand. So if you can look at like your past decade, try to remind yourself of valuable skills that you've learned that you can build on, And so yeah, I kind of want to go through this because this will help you sort of figure out your purpose a little bit. All right. And if you're not sure if what you're doing now, you should quit. Okay. Well, one of the first reason would be that it literally kills like your energy, even on good days and especially on bad days. But it's normal. It's normal to have some days that are off, right? You're tired, your energy's low, and it's just this part of the job that is not fun. Like right now, I'm in the military. Is it fun every day? Fuck no. And why am I doing this on YouTube? Why am I making videos? Well, it's to have a second, a plan B, building on my plan B so that I can burn the boats and go live that life, live through my personal brand, help men like you, get out of the rat race, find an abundant dating life with women, and being the most charismatic self that you can be, right? So that's my mission. That's what I want to do, right? But if what you're doing now is just draining you, like it's insanely draining you, and every time you wake up, you have sort of like this undertone of unhappiness. Every time you wake up, it feels like a reset. Like there's a lot of days where you're never happy. Like, can you remember a day where you were kind of like, shit, man, I feel good? There's not that many. Maybe once when you were drunk or something, right? So yeah, if it kills your energy, if the time drags every time, if like it feels like a never-ending day, and you just don't get that energy from actively doing the work, well, maybe you should reconsider your goal, right? That's quite simple, but it's not sometimes easy to realize once when we're stuck and there's no other options. So point number 2 here, looking at my notes, it's constant resistance. Constant resistance. So let's flip it now where let's say you're trying something new. You're trying something new in hopes that it's going to work out, but while doing it, you get constant resistance. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have challenges. Like challenges is going to help you grow, right? Like that's very valuable. But if you're always like having, I don't know, technical glitches or just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, like it to the point where it almost makes you laugh at how unlucky you are. Well, this could be a strong sign that. All right, the camera fucking froze on me. So yes, if you always get resistance on something, like to the point where it's almost laughable of how unlucky you are, then dude, you should probably reconsider, because maybe that's not your goal. Maybe that's someone else's. Okay, so it could be maybe a lifelong lesson, from you'll get a lesson out of, trying that, if you get what I mean. But it's probably time to move on to something else. If after trying constantly while you see others next to you like just breezing through and it's so easy to them, maybe reconsider. And number 3, this is a good question to ask yourself whenever you're in doubt, right? What would you do if you had $100 million in the bank? Would you still do what you do right now? If the answer is yes, then cool. That's a great goal you're doing. That's a great purpose that you're following. But if it's like fuck no, then maybe you should look into something else. And I get it. We have to pay the bills, right? And it's hard to build a business on the side and all of that. I get that. But what's stopping you really? I mean, you have the same amount of time as me, right? You have some time to work on that side project, that sort of thing that you would still do if you had $100 million in the bank. So why are you not doing that in your free time? And you're gonna say, oh, because when I get home, my soul is drained, my energy is low. I just don't have the luxury to change. So many responsibilities. I just don't have the energy. Well, there's a few things you can do. You can quit your job, because I talked about it, right? If it kills your energy every time, you should probably look into something else, right? There's always another job, another option. You just gotta look into it. What's the lowest hanging fruit that you can grab on to right now? What's the one thing you can change now in your current situation that will move the needle forward so that you can now chase your purpose? Think about that. If it's changing a job, dude, there's all kinds of remote jobs now out there that you can look into. Maybe some mentorship if you want to accelerate your growth and find a job faster, a remote job faster. There's always going to be a job in sales, right? You can always sell stuff on the phone, whether it's high ticket closing or appointment setting. You still have time. I mean, AI hasn't taken over all the appointment setters and all of that, but sales will always be a big market. And if you don't like sales, look through async remote jobs, right? And once just go on a bunch of interviews. You have the time to do that after work. And if a job really aligns with what you want to do, or at least you have more free time after to do what you actually want to do, and you still get paid, and it's not draining your soul as much, not draining your energy as much, then yeah, it could be a solid move. So once you get that job proposal after the interview, just quit your fucking job and then start next month on your new job. And then you can sort of reevaluate, everything. This fucking camera's temperature. Okay. I'm gonna figure it out, guys. I'm gonna figure out the YouTube game, okay? I swear. By the way, this is my shack. What a shitty fucking place, guys, okay? I'm doing the best I can so that I can move out. But it is what it is. We're hustling, it's grind mode right now, and yeah, we're working on changing lives. So what was I saying is that, yes, when you do find that job that, gets you by and doesn't drain your soul as much, this is where you can work on your purpose a little bit more. And as far as increasing your energy even more, that's all about nutrition and fitness. I have a massive 12-week guide inside my school community that you can join, link in the description. And that's the first thing we work on, fitness and nutrition, with the goal to ultimately skyrocket your testosterone. I believe that the protocol I have inside will double, if not triple, your testosterone, right? Because we touch on so many strategies, right? Sleep strategies, right? As far as macros, how to optimize your fats and proteins and carbs so that, you can fuel yourself properly, right? Especially, around your training and also before bed, the right supplements to take, certain herbs, vitamins, minerals. And, it's a full-on strategy. I mean, I've studied kinesiology for 4 years. I have a bachelor in it. I was certified in nutrition, so I know the big deal. I know how to get into movie star shape. I can maintain 10% body fat year round, right? And my testosterone right now is at around 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. If you don't know, the average right now in today's men are around 200 to 300. So it's quite low, 400 at best. So more than double than that. So if you want unlimited focus, join my free community. We work on this first thing. And we work on inner game, giving you the right tools to really find that purpose of yours and apply the principles of reality transurfing so that, you literally change your reality. You employ a different mindset around your goals, how you see achieving them, and, how to really dissect your goals in a proper way, like not just writing them down, but really like dissect them to the higher self, to the ego, and really have a strong understanding of why you're pursuing that goal, right? And that's gonna kill your laziness. Like you're not gonna need motivation anymore. Like you're really not. So this on top of nutrition, fitness, I mean, it's gonna shoot up your energy and you're gonna feel alive again. And that can translate into your dating life, right? Because you believe in yourself more, you look better, you feel better, you have more energy. And also on the nutrition side, we try to find ways to fuel our neurotransmitters, which, will fire neurons, and you'll be more focused, man. You'll never run out of things to say, really. And, it's going to show in your eyes, in your pupils. Pupils. French, my French. Pupils? How do you say pupils? I don't. Yeah. But yes, we touch on that. Then we touch on voice, vocal projection, charisma, how to release those tensions in your body that is preventing you from being your full charismatic self. So we touch on that a lot. And, this is I should charge 100 plus a month on this, but I'm just starting out, so I make it free for everybody. Because, that's not my main bread and butter. That's not where I feel like I can help guys, but at the highest level, I have something else in mind, which I'm building on. And this is for people that are really committed and want to, build that transformation within 6 months. Within 6 months, where we touch on all these concepts at a very high level, and then at the end of the 6 months, we apply it in the field. And I won't say too much, but it's really exciting. It's a fun project I'm building on, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. And what's fun is that on school, we can have Zoom calls. Not sure how many times per month I'm going to do them, but this is where we can have raw, unfiltered talks, right? On YouTube, there's certain things I can't say. And that's why I want to build this community so that, we can have some real talk. So, yeah, guys, if you're not sure about your purpose, if you're not sure if you should quit your goal now, well, if it kills your energy, if you always encounter like roadblocks, obstacles, or constantly unlucky, or if when you ask yourself, if I had $100 million in the bank now, would I still do this? Well, if one of these questions, resonates with you, perhaps it's time to change your goal and start your transformation today. So join my community and reach out to me. There's not many people in there, so I could probably assess your current situation and move the needle for you in the right direction. So peace out. Talk to you soon.